Imagine you're at home. You get a random message from this dude named the King. First you might think this dude's an absolute loser for calling himself the King. But next you're probably wondering why he's asking you to touch your classmates' melons, or else you'll get punished. Now it's either just a good friend,
or did he?
So the next day you head to school and find out everyone else got the same message. You're absolutely cooked, because everyone thinks you're the weirdo calling himself the King, giving out these
Horny ass orders.
So what do? Prove to them that the games are real by showing them how his last class ended up? Or tell them that it's real, and if they don't do what they're told, they die?
It really doesn't matter.
Shut up! You know what's a great idea? Let's make a death game, and we'll get a hentai studio to animate it. You see, you gotta add a crazy bitch, a little twink, an overly optimistic main character. The rest don't even matter, just make them all as brain dead as possible. Make some bullshit here, some bad writing there, who cares? This happens once every few years, where for some reason they choose the most down bad show to release. This one was 2017. Then we had Redo Healer, then we had Goblin Slayer, and if I hear one more goddamn time of someone talking about,
well, they're not that bad, Noah.
Shut your goon ass up, bro.
You see, I love my fair share of death games. It's a cool concept, but for some reason, most of them turn out to be absolute booty, used to make ecchis and low effort stories. Like with King's Game, where the whole premise of the show is this king guy giving orders, and the students have no choice but to follow him. Sounds pretty cool, right? But the thing is, the orders are some
dog shit.
Like most of the time, it's just choose who dies, whether it's a vote or just straight up message the names like it's Death Note. And it never really goes anywhere. Like, why does the king want some random kid to lose his virginity? Like one night, Nobuaki, his girlfriend, and his best friend are chilling, and then boom, the king orders Nobuaki's best friend to have sex before the end of the night. It's like almost 12 o'clock before this happens. So obviously, Nobuaki has literally one choice, and that's to let his best friend bang his girlfriend to save his life. This is some freaky ass king we're talking about here. And this isn't even the only time some dude has to fuck some other dude's girlfriend to survive. And it's not even the orders that are the worst part, it's the characters. These gotta be the dumbest cast of characters I've seen in my life. Every decision made makes absolutely no sense, even in a high stress situation. Like this one chick, she gets the chance to make her own order. Now with this, I could probably come up with a few good ideas, like immunity for the rest of the game. But you know what she does? She orders herself to touch the king, because she thinks the king is in the classroom and is one of the students. Well, that's not totally a bad thought. She risked her whole entire life on it, because it's either the king is one of the students or the king isn't. And her reasoning is because she believes in Nobuaki. Now, if this isn't the dumbest decision I've ever seen in probably any show I've ever watched, because even Nobuaki isn't sure who the king is. And guess what? Turns out the king isn't in the classroom. But she didn't die. She went blind. Even worse. She deadass could have used that opportunity on something way better. But now she's Steve Wonder. And then we got the antagonist, Natsuko. She just pisses me off. Not because she's a good villain, but because somehow she's constantly able to convince the students to do as she says. Even though she blatantly gets most people killed. And she doesn't even hide the fact that she's evil. She looks evil. She does the evil anime face. And when everybody realizes, oh my god, she's a bad person, they don't do shit about it. But they could quite literally gang up on her. But they just continue to let her play along. Now, if I was a student, she's a sacrifice. She is a get out of jail free card. They tried it towards the end with this game called the Breaking Finger game. Now, it's not called the Breaking Finger game, but it's self-explanatory.
So basically, if someone breaks the fingers on their left hand, they can give you negative points. But then you could just mangle the fingers on your right hand to get yourself out of—
Yada yada, you get the point. Basically, this student gives Nobuaki one last fade because he's a barber. He loves that shit. That's his dream and passion. And once he gives that one last cut, and then he proceeds to break his whole hand and steals all the points of Natsuko. And at this point, you're probably thinking, unless she breaks her own hand, she is finished. Now, if you want a contender of Dick Rider of the Year, it is this chick's best friend. Because when it's her turn, Natsuko starts begging. She starts, oh please, you have to break your fingers for me, otherwise I'm gonna die. And she's begging her friend with that cutesy look on her face. But then once he realizes her friend isn't gonna give her that, once she realizes that her friend's a little hesitant, she switches up so fast. And then she puts on that evil ass look, grabs her best friend, starts going ham on her hand. You know what's crazy? Her best friend proceeds to give her all the points. Not out of fear, but because she's lonely and that Natsuko is her only friend. Do you guys understand why I think this show is complete bullshit? This is rage bait. King's Game is just a rage bait anime, bro. These niggas knew what they were doing when they wrote this into the show. Like, this bitch just broke your fucking hand against her will. And now you're talking about, I can't lose my best friend. And then she just survives. And then after that, after this barber broke his fucking hand, what's going through my mind is like, okay, that didn't work. We gotta resort to the last thing that you could do, and that is throw hands. It is literally like 10 against 1, 10 against 2, with one girl with a broken hand. But nah, they let her slide, bro. They let her survive. For what? What are they scared for? And the most shitty part of the anime has to be the end. So at one point, they find out who the king is, and it's a virus. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. It's a virus that wants to see these students bang and kill each other. Does it get explained even more than that? Not really. Other than the fact it's been happening for years before there were phones, and they were using like notepads and shit for some reason. Like, I don't even know how the king was a virus and he managed to like send mail somehow back in the day. It's just basically a big plot hole. But the ending is basically more irritating than that. So they find out that the game does not end until everybody's dead. And they find that out by some letters left by dead students' phones. Don't ask me why that's the reason, I don't get it either. Meaning that if one survives, it will just follow the survivor to the next school. So they ended up squabbling it out, you know, evil chick dead, hoping they all rest in piss. The end. But then we get an end credit scene of a completely different school. They all end up getting ringtones, and they all get a message by the king. Meaning that nothing mattered in this show. None of the story makes sense. It's just gonna repeat itself, and hopefully they're gonna make a lot more money on sequels. Fuck this show. If you want more content like this, subscribe.